We were in the mine Riviera.
Yep. And
Yeah.
when was this? Like,
It was actually on May 4th.
May 4th, okay.
And that was the day of the weddings.
Okay, so just tell me a little bit about what happened. Where were you and what did you see?
We were just down at the pool in the morning. The girls and I had got together. It was the morning of the wedding, and we decided to just go for a swim and relax because the wedding wasn't until 6. And you know, there's tons of people around, and we were kind of behind a rock in the formations in the pool, and I hadn't seen what happened first, but you could just tell because this man didn't speak very good English. There was huge language barriers, but you could tell from the tone of his voice that something was wrong. And he was, you know, speaking, and just you could tell he was panicked. And so I came around the side of the rock, and I saw him. He was just holding this little girl, and she was completely limp. And he was kind of taking her over to the side of the pool to a ledge, but there's a ledge that comes out about 6 or 8 feet that has about 4 inches of water or so. For people to, you know, be in the water and still catch the sun. And so he put her up on the ledge, and it was like, you got to get her out of the water. And so I just went over and picked her up and took her out of the water. And when I picked her up, her eyes opened for a minute. She kind of made a little noise. And it was like, oh, so I put her on her side right away and thought it would be okay. But I realized right away that she still wasn't breathing. And he was panicking, like he was talking a mile a minute in some language. I'm not sure what it was, and he just kept on, you know, saying, you know, help, and I wanted to run for help. That was my first gut, was just go get a medic, somebody get a medic. And I thought, oh my God, I don't think I can go because I don't think anybody else knows CPR. And so I just stayed, and I couldn't tell what he was, you know, you're trying to get permission.
And was he her dad?
It was her dad. I mean, we didn't know that at that moment, but we realized, you know, really quickly that it was his daughter. And so you're trying to get permission, but all he kept on saying was no breath, no breath. And I couldn't tell whether he didn't want me to give her breath or whether he was telling me no breath. And I just said, and he was kind of, you know, patting her on the chest like he was trying to do CPR, but I mean, they were very ineffective. He was just kind of patting her. Because he was so panicked, I think. And I just said, she's just foaming at the mouth. And I said, she has to have breath. She has to have it. And then I just started doing CPR. And I don't know how much time passed. I really don't know. It wasn't very long.
So had she been like submerged? Like she inhaled much water? Or
she must have been, because she wasn't breathing. Okay. There was no vitals. Like, I couldn't tell though, because Dad was so panicked. I couldn't establish whether there was a pulse or not, but she was not breathing at all. That was really easy to establish.
Yeah.
But she had been completely under, and I mean, she was completely limp. There was nothing. And so then within I mean, it seemed like it was a long time, but I'm sure it wasn't longer than a few minutes. And a woman came running and just identified herself as a medic and said, "Can I help?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then I just backed off, and you know, we watched, you know, just from a distance. Then went and sat down, you know, back where our stuff was, and then within just a few minutes, the little girl was crying, and we knew that she was going to be okay.
Okay, wow.
And so